Okay, this is a question for white people only. How do y'all really feel about white girls wearing dreads and box braids and everything else?
I am Generation X, and I'm going to tell you how it's viewed here in the South. I'm in South Carolina. There's two very distinct views. We don't have a problem with dreads, like the tangled dreads, because that occurs in all races. There's mummies from all races with it, and our hair will do that if we don't brush it. So we can still wash it, but it will lock if we don't brush it. And I'm sure we had it when we were like cave people and didn't brush our hair. And the majority of places absolutely will not hire you if you're white with dreads. I'm just going to tell you that straight up. Now I'm going to tell you the 2 points of view in the South on a white girl wearing black folk braided hairstyles of any kind. Because they are totally uneducated on the history of braids. Nothing about identified tribes, status within a tribe. You had rice in that, you know, when you're on the underground. No, they don't know nothing about that. So the white people can't stand it and consider you a race traitor. And they will call them in-believers. It's horrible. Now, the folks that happen to be white don't like it for the following reasons. These women choose almost every time to be a negative black folk stereotype. You know, like the hot Cheetos girl. So they take on, you know, AAV vernacular and pretend to be black. But they portray the worst stereotype that racist whites have of black women. They tend to be aggressive, loud, the definition of ghetto. Not the regular definition of ghetto, because if you've ever been in a white trailer park, they're there. They feel proud when they take a black boy from a black woman. They get off on that. They are so disrespectful to black women. And when they get mad at their black boyfriend and say the N word that ends with A, they're not doing that for the vernacular. They're doing it because they feel like, because of their situation, they can. It's completely coming from a upbringing. Because 99% of these girls, their families are, and they started this as a rebellion against their families. That's just a plain out truth. If you're offended by that, I'm talking about you. Now, there are exceptions to that general rule. When a white girl has been accepted and adopted by black folk, you'll know that because all her friends are black women. She's always around black women. And sometimes these women will do their hair. And there's a big difference. The ones I was talking about before, the stereotypical ones, almost all their friends will be white. The whitest white you ever seen. But the other ones that I'm talking about that are exceptions to the rule are beige. So they have come up in black culture, in black neighborhoods, and they have been adopted. And sometimes those women will do their hair. But you can always tell the difference. They're not disrespectful. And the black women around them have no problem with their hair because they were adopted in. So, even us that happen to be white, we can't stand that first stereotype at all. Anyway, I hope that helped with the explanation. Okay, bye. Okay, first, this is not an attack video. Nobody come after them. They're not the only one that said stuff like this. And I just want to take this opportunity to, again, educate white folks on certain types of braids. I did not say all braids. That never came out of my mouth, not once. So first of all, dreadlocks, the tangly matted ones, are universal, so we're not going to address that, as in all races for all of time. Alright, white folks, let's say hypothetically you did your DNA test and you find out that you have a lot of Viking heritage. And, Americans don't really have culture, and so you wanted to touch base, and you were really glad to find this information, so you went and got your hair done. Like this. Or this. Or this. Or this. And when you got to work the next day, your boss told you had to go home and change your hair. You could never wear it like that again because it's unprofessional. How would you feel about that? So that's the first thing. We wouldn't be booted because we did our ancestral braid patterns. Now, what I am talking about, why I don't like it when women wear African type braids personally, is because they do not understand the meaning and where this came from. It's not just hair. If white people took the time to educate themselves about another culture, then it wouldn't be an issue, because then you would wear them respectfully. And then when a black person comes in with their hair braided, it is not an unprofessional hairstyle. It's just a hairstyle. But until you educate yourself, till all of us educate ourselves about this kind of issue, you will say, oh, it's just hair. Anyone can wear it. But in these cases, it is not. So these braids would tell you what tribe someone was from, what their rank in that tribe was. It would tell you if they're single, if they're married, if they're grieving. There was so much in these styles, so it's not just hair for them.
Ja, en waar had ze dat gedaan, Edith? Op het slavenschip, of in Paramaribo, of in Afrika? In Afrika. Oké, ja, laten we het vandaan. Ja.
So they would have to, I don't know if you're aware of this, but in the South, tobacco wasn't the great big thing at first. It was rice. You can still get Carolina rice, but they would have to braid rice and making them shave their heads, and they would stuff cushions with their hair. So in my opinion, this is not okay. This is, because at least in the South, your ass ain't getting hired with hair like this either. And for white folks in general that come across this post, if you are tired of hearing about slavery, and you're tired of hearing about racism, you're tired of hearing about Black Lives Matter, then take the time to make the changes so that everyone in this country has the same equal rights. Then you won't have to hear it anymore. The reason you keep hearing it is because we have stalemated since, we actually went a little backwards since the 90s. That's how you'll stop. You tired of hearing it? Oh, the black folks is victim. Well, then do stuff to make it equal for everyone. Was that? What? Governments should have people of every race and or mix or whatever, just about equally, and every financial level. That's what government should be made of. And someone of different sexuality, someone of different genders. The governments don't represent the people. So white people that swear you're not racist, but you're tired of hearing about slavery and racism, and you say black people have victim mentality and all that shit, then change. Y'all the ones that do all the voting. Change who you vote in. There's no balance there. And then you want to complain about it. Nobody's listening to them. It's not going to change it. Y'all have to. So what are you waiting for? If you don't want to hear it anymore, do something about it. Sorry, I got off on a tangent there. She pissed me off.